Hello everybody and welcome to this new video from Bikotic. Forgive my slightly gravelly voice. I've had a bit of a man cold this week, but don't panic, I've done a lateral flow test and we're all good. Just before we get stuck into this video, good luck to everybody riding the Paris-Roubaix this weekend. And I'm actually recording this a few hours before the start of the Paris-Roubaix Femmes, which is the first ever running of the women's race. Looks like it might be wet and muddy, so let's hope we have a great race and everybody stays safe. So can I interest you in this? It's the Honda CBR 650R from 2021, £8,149. This is a pretty lovely sports bike. Comes with big fat tyres, an exhaust pipe, humongously huge disc brakes, mirrors, lights. It's even got an engine in it. It's got a top speed of 140 miles an hour and it'll go 0 to 60 in 3.7 seconds, which is not far off the Ferrari Enzo. So a bit of a weapon. No, I hear you cry. You want to spend more money. How about this? The 4-door Dacia Sandero. And for £11,445 you get a whole car with 4 doors, an 8-inch nav display, Bluetooth, anti-lock braking system, a rear camera, electric adjusting and defrosting side mirrors, one-touch front electric windows, and a leather steering wheel. And that's just a few of the amazing features that you get with this full-blown 4-door family car. But no, I hear you cry. You want to spend more money. Okay, well I've got just the thing for you. Here we go. It's the Cervelo R5 Dura Ace Di2, £11,699. This could be exactly what you're looking for. You get a whole bike with 2 wheels. Granted, you've got to supply the pedals, the speedo, and the power. But what's not to like? It's a beast. In 2019 you could get a rim brake version of this bike, £7,899. And then we had the outgoing model, the 2021 version. That's what we've got here, £9,689. So for the new 2022 version, Cervelo have been working hard on putting the price up, because now we're at £11,699. Okay, I know. All I seem to go on about is the price of these bikes these days. Write down in the comments down below if you're bored about me talking about how expensive these things are, and I promise not to mention it again. So in a more sort of serious bike review type way, here we have the new Cervelo R5. This is the new Dura Ace Di2 version, lovely jubbly. And if we just zoom in on the back here, I can't see on the Cervelo website, doesn't look like you could, but I'm not sure you can have a mechanical version of this bike. Correct me if I'm wrong on that. And if we fade between this and the outgoing model, we can see a few changes there, namely around the front. The new version is obviously a lot cleaner, no cables. It all looks pretty neat and tidy and clean. I do have to question, for that kind of money, the shut lines, as you might say on a car, look a little bit gappy. For this kind of money I sort of want Audi quality shut lines really. There's some pretty big gaps here. But apart from that, quite a clean sort of looking front end, I like that. Just fading between the new and the old again. Does look a lot cleaner around here, doesn't it? I like that. Got rid of that nasty plastic covery thing. Just looking at this old version, it looks kind of weird with the laid back seat post, doesn't it? Almost reminds me of when I was a kid and I desperately wanted the rally burner with the laid back seat post. Remember that? I used to love that. I never actually got a rally burner as a kid, but boy, I dreamed about that. Anyway, there we go. That's the new R5 in comparison to the old version. Now, we first saw this bike at Flesh Wallone, I think it was. Here's Primoz riding it. They had this fancy paint scheme trying to hide what it looked like. And then a few weeks ago, he did it again. He won the Vuelta a España, the Tour of Spain. Now, I'm pretty much 100% that means that this is the first bike to win a Grand Tour with disc brakes. And correct me down below if I'm wrong, but I think I'm right in saying that. I don't think at any point he changed to a rim brake bike like Taddy did on the Tour. So there we go, there's something for Cervelo to shout about. So when I went to the Cervelo website, I was expecting them to have a load of marketing spiel about the new bike, but I was quite surprised to find that this is pretty much all they write about it. What goes up must come down. The R5 has one job: get to the top fast. And if we just scroll down the page, you get to choose the different versions. There's a little video with a bit of music on it. This actually says learn more, but it actually just tells you about aerodynamics. because the new version has got hidden cables. It's reduced the drag by 25 grams, which I'm guessing is a good thing. There's a picture of Walt, there's some geometry, and then that's it. So there we go. Not much to talk about there, unless I'm missing some secret button that you press to find out all about it. It's all pretty minimal. So here we go. Here's a few numbers then. Apparently the new frame is 130 grams lighter. The new fork, apparently less stiff, because Tom Dumoulin said the old one was too stiff, which gives you a total weight for the frame and a fork of 1,032 grams, which I guess is pretty light, other than the fact that the specialised Aethos frame and fork comes in at 855 grams, so quite a bit lighter. They've upped the tyre clearance to 34mm tyres, so if you want to use your 11.5 gram bike as a gravel bike, albeit a slightly twitchy one, then you can. I like what they've done to the seat post clamp, hidden it behind here. I think this looks much neater than the nasty rubber covers that a lot of manufacturers put on their bikes. And I like the scale on the back of the seat post to make it easier to get your fit dialed in, so that's cool. Now what has surprised me a lot is that on this version, the Dura Ace Di2 version, there's no power meter. So you're spending a lot of money here, and unless it's a typo, this bike is not configured with the Dura Ace power meter. The SRAM Red and the SRAM Force versions are. It says that they do come with the power meter, but not the Dura Ace one, which is a bit of a shocker. Now the other bike in the Cervelo stable that the Jumbo gang get to choose from is this one here. It's the S5. If we just fade between the two here, we can see they're radically different, mainly due to the fact that the S5 is a super radical aero bike. Lots of bizarre shapes on it, all in the name of aerodynamics, which is all very different to the R5, which is much more a climbing bike and a much more conventional shape. The bike that I was very interested to see up against this R5 is the specialised Aethos, and that's it there fading through. Again, the Dura Ace version, the old Dura Ace. And you can sort of feel a synergy between these two. They've got quite a similar stance, I think. Read a few conflicting opinions on the Aethos, but personally I'm still a fan. I just think it looks real nice. I like the fact that it all looks quite conventional, and if there was a way to keep it looking like this and still lose the cables, then that would be wicked, wouldn't it? And then if we offer it up to the Tarmac SL7 that we were looking at the other day from the American website, because it still doesn't appear to be on the UK website, then that looks like that. And the R5 kind of makes the SL7 look quite chubby. I guess that's all the extra aero features that the Tarmac has. I kind of feel that the R5 probably looks cleaner than the Tarmac. Not sure I'd choose the R5 over the Tarmac. What do you think? Put a comment down below. And the other bike that you might be thinking about is the Trek Emonda. So let's offer that up. This is the SLR9, tiny bit cheaper. Just fade between the two there. No power meter on this one either. Quite a big difference in the frame shapes. The Emonda borrowing quite a lot of its look from the Madone. And then next up, another bike I was very intrigued to see up against this because it reminded me of it, is this one. The Ridley Helium, and this is the SLX Ultegra version because I couldn't see a Dura Race version. And even though these are both medium, the Ridley does seem a lot bigger. I don't know whether that's to do with the photograph or whether it is actually just a lot bigger. We'll have a look at the geometry stats in a minute, but the Helium has incredibly thin seat stays going on here, even in comparison to the R5. Super skinny. And if you follow the Bikotic channel as much as I do, which doesn't really make sense because I am Bikotic, then you'll remember this from my last video. It's the Scultura team. Also Dura Ace Di2 new version. This one does come with the power meter as opposed to the Cervelo. And not only that, the Scultura is remarkably cheaper than the Cervelo. Now while I was researching this video, I realized that Merida have now released the Scultura 10K, and this is a higher spec to the team version. Comes in this green sparkly paint job, Again, Dura Ace Di2, it does have the power meter. Comparing the 10K and the Team on the Merida website, the only difference I can see is that the 10K comes with the Zip 353 NSW carbon wheel set and the Team comes with the Vision Metron 45s. Apart from that, I can't see any other difference. That's an expensive pair of wheels. Now if we have a quick look at the geometry on these bikes, here are the bikes that we just compared the R5 to, the S5, the Aethos, the Tarmac, the Emonda, the Helium, the Scultura. The R5 has the longest wheelbase, the S5 has the shortest wheelbase, the R5 has the shortest reach, whereas the Tarmac has the longest reach. So the Tarmac is going to stretch you out more than the R5. Stack height, the Tarmac is the lowest and the Helium and the R5 the highest. So of all these bikes, just looking at these numbers, you could say that the R5 is probably the more forgiving of all the geometries here. Other numbers to look at, the bottom bracket drop. Quite interesting that the Helium and the Scultura, so Ridley and Merida, have decided that 66 is the way to go, whereas the Aethos, the Tarmac, the R5, 72, which is quite a bit lower. Chainstay length, the S5 and the Helium are the shortest, which is going to make those two bikes feel slightly more snappy, but 410 seems to be about the average there. And then head angles, all exactly the same, apart from the R5, which is half a degree slacker. So looking purely at the numbers, the R5 is very slightly more relaxed than these other full-blown race bikes. Now then, assuming that I was in the market for one of these bikes and assuming that I had this amount of money burning a hole in my bank account, what would I go for? Well, personally, I've got to say I'd probably go for the Scultura Team, and with my saving of £3,949, I'd probably get the paint job slightly tweaked. I'm not super keen on riding a world tour colour scheme, that kind of puts too much pressure on me. But the main thing I would do with that extra money is I would hire a luxury villa in Mallorca, pack my bike up and go for a rather lovely 2-week holiday. Thank you very much. Lots of lovely riding in Mallorca, and boy would it be nice to see the sun again. So there we go. If you like this video, give it a thumbs up. If you haven't already, subscribe to the channel. If you've got some bikes that you'd like to see compared on the new video, pop it down in a comment down below. I obviously can't do everybody's suggestions, but sometimes I do the odd one. So until next time.